In the event of an emergency evacuation, please follow these guidelines. If you are seated in the lower rows of level 100, please walk down the stairs to the floor, proceed through the nearest portal, and exit the building. For the upper rows of level 100, walk up the stairs to the concourse and exit through the nearest doors. Those seated in 200, 300, or loge seating walk downstairs to the concourse to exit through the nearest doors. Elevators will not be in service, but event staff will be available to guide and assist you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Thompson-Boling Arena and the graduate hooding ceremony. This day represents a milestone achievement in the lives of our graduate students. Please remember that this is an academic, formal ceremony and appropriate decorum is expected. We also ask that you please silence all cell phones and electronic devices, and remember that there's no smoking in the restroom areas or the arena. We also ask that you please be respectful throughout the ceremony as we put our full focus and attention on our students. We appreciate your cooperation in advance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand for our academic procession, which begins with our fall 2022 graduates and faculty. The University of Tennessee Chancellor Dondi Plowman, as well as the Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Ernest Brothers, will then lead the commencement stage party, which includes our speaker, Ashley Reeves, members of the campus administration, and the college deans. begin today's ceremonies with the singing of the national anthem. We ask that you please remain standing and join us in vocalist Madison McKay singing the Star Spangled Banner. Madison is accompanied by members of the Tennessee Brass, Keith Brown, Nathan Kaufman, Nicole Hollenbach, Lexi Kilgore, Alexander Lepens, and Alex Van Duren.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Vice Provost and Dean of the Graduate School, Dixie L. Thompson, I would like to welcome you to the Fall 22 Graduate Hoodie. Unfortunately, Dean Thompson was unable to join us today, but she does send her heartfelt regards and congratulations to all of you. This is a wonderful day of celebration for our campus. Our hooding ceremony this afternoon honors nearly 1,200 graduate and professional students receiving their degrees in summer or fall 2022. The investment of time and resources to achieve this outcome is immense, and I applaud all who work to make this success possible. As the Associate Dean of the Graduate School, I welcome everyone to this special ceremony to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. Today, we will honor graduates who have earned master's, specialists in education, and doctoral degrees. Each of these degrees requires intensive study and demonstration of knowledge and skills in an area of specialization. Your program provides more details about these degrees. The members of our graduate faculty are crucial partners in the success of our students. Our faculty not only teach classes, but they also assist our students in their research, outreach, and creative activities, and provide invaluable mentoring and career support for our students. I would like for all of our faculty who are present to please stand so that we can recognize them for their contributions. Faculty, please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. I am pleased to have so many guests in attendance today, and once again, thank you for coming to celebrate our graduates. More importantly, thank you for the support you have provided to our students during their academic journey. Your sacrifices and support help make it possible for our students to achieve their dreams. Graduates, let's give a round of applause to family, friends, mentors, and encouragers who have supported you during your time as a graduate student. Today's featured speaker is Dr. Ashley Reeves. Ashley is a lifelong animal lover who grew up in a small community outside of Memphis, Tennessee. She began her UT journey in 2015, earned her doctorate of veterinary medicine degree in 2019, and this semester completed her PhD in comparative and experimental medicine. Her current research focus is with ocelots, a wild feline species native to South and Central America and some southern areas of North America. Habitat loss is threatening the survival of ocelots in the U.S., and her research is helping to conserve these endangered animals. Her veterinary journey includes training and experience across the U.S., including in Texas, Colorado, and Florida. She has worked with farm animals, such as cows and pigs and horses, but she has also worked with bobcats, coyotes, foxes, mule deer, pronghorn, waterfowl, and sea turtles. Her volunteer work led her to South Africa, where she provided support for exotic animals. Clearly, she has demonstrated her love of animals expands a large range of species. Ashley's time at UT hasn't been easy, and she has overcome many challenges during her academic journey. To quote her advisor, Dr. Deborah Miller, Ashley is truly a remarkable woman and one who serves as a role model to other veterinary and graduate students, and especially other women. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Ashley Reeves.
Good afternoon. I'm both honored and humbled to be addressing the Fall 2022 graduates. Before I begin, everyone please give our graduates a hand, because this class and this moment has climbed the highest and hardest mountain to get to this point, and everybody in here is a rock star today. Today, my goal is not to give you a speech on how to best practice your career, nor be the smartest and most talented professional. Instead, I wanted to give you some words of encouragement and what, in my opinion, are some of the most important things to remember to stay true to who you are and be the best human being you can be. I hope my words will inspire, encourage, and provide some humor to end this long journey we've finally completed. I'll begin with a quote from Chris Pratt. If you're smart, and every person in this room has proven they are, be a humble influencer. Strength and intelligence can be weapons, so do not wield them against the weak. Nobody is perfect, you are imperfect, and there is a strong force that has made you that way. If you're willing to accept that, then you will have grace. Grace is a gift that is not earned, but freely given. Remember to have grace even in times when you feel it's not deserved. You never know what trials someone may be facing. As all of us will be, and maybe some already are, experiencing adversities or events in life that shape who you are, how others see you, and how you choose to live your life. For example, I've spent my entire life with a heart condition that has defined much of the core of who I am. But the great thing is we have a choice on how these kinds of experiences define us. We have a choice to let these experiences dishearten us, cripple us, and negatively impact our lives and those around us. Conversely, you can choose to let these experiences empower you to move forward, motivate you to beat these experiences, encourage you to share your journey so that others may learn from your mistakes, humble you to ask for help in times of need, and positively impact your growth into the person you will become. I challenge you all to embrace these experiences and use them to fuel a constructive outlook on life, and not to let setbacks or failures weigh you down, because I guarantee we will have setbacks and we will fail. Try to stop, take a deep breath, and be an encouragement to others. Be proud of yourself, and try to see lightness even in the darkest of times. Growing pains are hard, but willpower and grace are stronger. Keep in mind the heroes that blaze the path before us. We all have heroes and mentors who have influenced our journey. Now it's our turn to be a hero and inspires those who look up to us. Choose your words wisely. They are a direct reflection of what's in your heart, and they not only have the ability to inspire a great future, but also to destroy a dream. Be the person who was a hero to you, and if you did not have a hero or mentor that you needed, strive to be the person you needed back then. I know I've hit y'all with some heavy reminders thus far, but most importantly, remember to find humor in life and be able to laugh at yourself. Laughter is contagious and truly the best medicine. No, really, this has been researched since the early 1900s and has been found to promote relaxation, decrease stress, and burn calories. And who doesn't want to burn calories and not have to go to the gym? A mentor once told me, always take your work seriously, but never take yourself too seriously. I have carried these words with me since the day he spoke them to me, and this has encouraged me to always find a way to make others smile or laugh even at my expense. Just as a recent example, to never take yourself too seriously, and being first isn't always the best. Like being the first person to use the bathroom on a plane, only to find out the door permanently has locked you in for the entire flight, requiring the airline attendant to kick down the door just prior to landing so you don't have to land in the bathroom stall. This, of course, led to a standing ovation from all the passengers on my flight, and needless to say, everyone had a good laugh at my expense. My last words of wisdom I'll leave you with are from the famous Moira Rose. Let's not count our poultry before it's incubated. It has become a common lifestyle to live, sleep, and breathe for our job. One of the best pieces of advice I was giving during my veterinary school interview in 2015 was to always remember that this job is not what you do, it is what you do, it is not who you are. Please remember you cannot pour from an empty cup. I know most of you have worked for a large part, and I mean large part of your lives, to get to this day, and your career is soon beginning. But please don't forget to take time for family, friends, and hobbies that shape who you are. Take care of yourselves mentally and physically, and remember it's okay to have boundaries. Sometimes in life we're soaring, sometimes we're running, and sometimes we can barely walk or even crawl through the day. Whatever point you find yourself in life, remember you're not alone. Lean on others and the power of self-care, whether that be prayer, exercise, time with family and friends, being outdoors, or just recharging with a day of rest to help lift you to soar once again. Every single one of you deserves a full cup because you have worked so hard for where you're standing right now. Take care of yourselves and remember to be your own hero and be not just the best professional you can be, but the best person you can be. I believe in all of you, and again, I thank you for having me here to share with you today. Congratulations, graduates, and go Vols!
Thank you, Ashley, for those words of inspiration and encouragement. Today, our graduates will be introduced individually. Our students have worked hard to earn their degrees. I ask that you be patient as we recognize each graduate. Graduates, as soon as you have crossed the stage, you will exit briefly for photos and then please return to your seat. The candidates for the various master's degrees and the specialist in education degree will come forward to be recognized by their college dean and the chancellor.
The candidates from the Herbert College of Agriculture will be greeted by Dean David White. Shannon Marissa Newell. Sandra Adrienne Pena. Catherine Diane Peterson. Claire Elise Hunkler. Eric Randall Bosworth Jr. Madison Alexandra Oler. Katasha Collett Hall. Grace L. Clardy. Maurice Travail Smith. Latrell Ellen Bumpus. Jacob Elijah Warren. Hunter Parks Dove. The candidates from the College of Architecture and Design will be greeted by Dean Jason Young. Adrienne Marie Weber. Next, the candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences will be greeted by Dean Teresa M. Lee. Matthew Thomas Klingerman. Carson Thomas Adams. Elliot Goldstein. Eva Marie Jones. Victoria Lynn Brown. Lucas Nicholas Gonzalez. Derek Keith Marlowe. Emma Mackenzie Mitchell. Haley Elise Shasted. Kelly Ann Wandell. Benjamin Stephen Marks. Ileana Elash. Catherine Michelle Truby. The candidates from the Haslam College of Business will be greeted by Dean Steve L. Mangum. James Malin Weir. Next, we will have candidates from the College of Communication and Information with Dean Joe Major. Kimberly Renee Sunday. Carolyn Potlock. Keely Ann Moriarty. Henry Charles Thomas. Sarah Alicia Wheeler. Rebecca Ann Boone. Landon Flores Lind. Emma L. Carter. Rochelle Miushaw. Sharice Christian Black. Christina Marie Stitt. Megan Allison Hopkins. Barbara Michelle Adcock. Jennifer Lee Golston. Grace Elizabeth Cox. Cassandra Jean Sproles. Amanda Foster Johnson. Marissa Diane Holt. Samantha Lee Marie Greco. Sarah Taltel Payton. Casey Elizabeth Keith. Alexandra Swisher Vanderford. Carrie Louise Kelly. Landon Andrew King. Paige Kaylin Hill. Leslie Naomi D'Angelo. The next candidates will be from the College of Education, Health, and Human Sciences, and they will be greeted by Dean Alan McIntyre, Rachel Elizabeth Godfrey, Miranda H. Rasnick, Tasha Burdine, Susan Smith Gore, Brandon Andrew Castile, Autumn Danielle Hooten, Jessica Taylor Ross Romine, Ian Andrew Sinclair, Eric Allen Harrell, Ruth L. Wren, Emma Jane Jones, Matthew Paxton Brooks, Emily Ann Newhauser, Devin Sidney Gilbert, Michaela Ann Newman, Ellie Marie Houseman, Laura K. McManaman, Fallon Maya Berry, Claire Jillian Johnson, Kaylee Brooke Taylor, Owen Wesley Robinson, Kirby Draper Simpson, Cheyenne Landon LaBruja, Rebecca May Walker, Michael Lee Johnson, Jr., Bailey Quinn Towsley, Kendall Caskey, Kelly Staples Kane, Amber Schuster, Chelsea Nicole Price, Addison Lynn Welch, Caroline Toby Cole, Danielle Marie Shine, Chelsea Sabrina Wilson, John Thomas Cochran, Nathan Lewis Strand, Bobby Lynn Bernard, Sarah Elizabeth Limecooler, LaRonda Timeka Jennings, Daphne Branham Douglas, Aline Hedrick Beeler, Maggie Elise Elliott, Lisa Renee Manning, Tarika Janine Sanderson, Charles Edward Lowe, Jr., Sean D. Sparks, Roy Leander Tan, Kimberly Shea Pestovich, Hannah Nicole Schmidt, Brian Anthony Washington, Jamie Michelle Strader, Kale Allen Hope Truman Jarrell, Next are candidates from the Tickle College of Engineering with Dean Joseph Mentz. Hannah Olivia Smith. Tyler James Rochelle. Tiffany Patricia Quigley. Karen Wynn Abercrombie. Molly Emma Muncie. Matthew Graham Montgomery. Jeffrey Cole Emmett Jr. Nicholas Alexander Simmons. Matthew Brennings Carter Jr. Trey Isaac McGee. Lamera Latrice Glass. Calvin Kennedy Jordan II. Patrick Connor Buchanan. Matthew Robert Smalley. Jeffrey Zachariah McMichael. Kakuma Israel Glaudoa. Salim Wahil Alsafar. Janjun Shu. Cameron Valjean Atkins II. Damian Ellis Seals. Cameron Thomas Hilliard. Brandon S. Connor. Matthew Stephen Scott. Sun Newt Kwang. Michael Trayvon Kennedy. Delana K. McDonald. Madison Catherine Tippett. Heather Elizabeth Haney. Ryan Ogle. Madison Suzanne Ratner. Blake Robert Montz. Clint Allen Clayton. Charles Timothy Kadalka. The candidates from the College of Law will be greeted by Dean Lonnie Brown. Natasha Waldschlager. We're going to move now to the candidates from the College of Social Work, who will be greeted by Dean Lori Messenger. Laura Fabiola Lara Salazar. Jolbania Michelle Bailey. Taylor Lishu. Ann McCall Stansberry. Haley Morgan Gomez. And one from the College of Arts and Sciences with Dean Terry A. Lee. Michael Leonga Nago. Next, we will present the doctoral candidates, starting with candidates from the Herbert College of Agriculture, who will be graded by Dean David White. Dr. Joel Nathaniel Etting, put by Dr. David White. Dr. Jessica L. Klabnick, hooded by Dr. David White. Dr. Mist Shamira Sultana, who will be hooded by Dr. Neil Stewart. Dr. Anton Friedrich Essner, hooded by Dr. Douglas Hayes. Dr. Delaney Caitlin Foster, hooded by Dr. Lawrence Stuckel. Dr. Edward Davis Carter, hooded by Dr. Matthew Gray. Dr. Tracy Lee Peters, hooded by Dr. Rob Williams. Dr. Melissa Marie Dean, hooded by Dr. Rob Williams. Dr. Young Ran, hooded by Dr. Jaja Chen. Dr. Aubrey Catherine Fine, hooded by Dr. Sean Schaefer. The candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences will be greeted by Dean Teresa M. Lee. Dr. Donnie Jean Barnett, Jr., hooded by Dr. Teresa Lee. Dr. Timothy Eugene Robertson, hooded by Dr. Teresa Lee. Dr. Rahul Soni, hooded by Dr. Teresa Lee. Dr. Joshua Gerardo Moncada, hooded by Dr. Mark Dadmum. Dr. Jacob Emerson Fisher, hooded by Dr. Mark Dadmum. Dr. Anthony D. Abshire, hooded by Dr. Ampolfo Darko. Dr. Andrew M. Keeler, hooded by Dr. Robert Gerzabach. Dr. Sri Krishna Nupane, hooded by Dr. Robert Gerzabach. Dr. Brianna King Vestal, hooded by Dr. Craig Barnes. Dr. Daniel J. Pizzapi, hooded by Dr. Thomas Haddix. Dr. Joshua D. Dobbs, hooded by Dr. Misty Anderson. Dr. Ziana Catherine Coker, hooded by Dr. Misty Anderson. Dr. Grace Maria Zarabia, hooded by Dr. Beva Sharma. Dr. Simon Rotzer, hooded by Dr. Gary Uzzoni. Dr. Jacob Kundonan Matuma, Sr., hooded by Dr. James Fordyce. Dr. Chandra Lene Cunningham, hooded by Dr. Madhuri Sharma. Dr. Heather Ann Davis, hooded by Dr. Solange Munoz. Dr. Hao Zhang, hooded by Dr. Christian Batista. Dr. Muhammad Redwan Hassan, hooded by Dr. Tessa Calhoun. Dr. Brett Anthony Smith, hooded by Dr. Konstantinos Vogiatsis. Dr. Nathaniel Dean Fletcher, hooded by Dr. Konstantinos Vogiatsis. Dr. Brennan Teresa Hackett, hooded by Dr. Christine Natras. Dr. Nadine Lynn Grambling, hooded by Dr. Micah Jessup. Dr. Tyler A. Grambling, hooded by Dr. Micah Jessup. Dr. Amber Leanne Hope Gray, hooded by Dr. Than Do. Dr. Andrew Dean Putt, hooded by Dr. Terry Hazen. Dr. Rihanna D. Moore, hooded by Dr. Anna Shinkevich. Dr. Jerry Eugene Scruggs, Jr., hooded by Dr. Dawn Duke. Dr. Naomi Elizabeth Gilbert, hooded by Dr. Stephen Wilhelm. Dr. Allison Rose Mason, hooded by Dr. Jennifer DeBron. Dr. Andrew Stephen Wagner, hooded by Dr. Todd Reynolds. Dr. Megan Elizabeth Dennison, hooded by Dr. Barbara Heath. Dr. Minami Nishioka, hooded by Dr. Luke Harlow. Dr. Lucia El Garoud, hooded by Dr. Amy Mundorf. Dr. Derek A. Boyd, hooded by Dr. Donnie Stedman. Dr. Haley Elizabeth Horbley, hooded by Dr. Donnie Stedman. Dr. Armando Anzolini, hooded by Dr. Donnie Stedman. Dr. Catherine Grace Josephine Ryan, hooded by Dr. Benjamin Auerbach. Dr. Hasitha Warenga Surya Arachachage, hooded by Dr. David Mandris. Dr. Yujia Yi, hooded by Dr. Francisco Barrera. Dr. Christine Diana Vossler, hooded by Dr. Lois Presser. Dr. Madison Victoria Melchiona, hooded by Dr. Gladys Alexander. Dr. Yang Shu, hooded by Dr. Rachel McCord. Dr. Samantha Lynn Peters, hooded by Dr. Robert Hettick. Dr. Him K. Shrestha, hooded by Dr. Robert Hettick. Dr. Edward Marcellus Garnes, Jr., hooded by Dr. Jacob Levy. Dr. Anavia Moody, hooded by Dr. Gina Owens. Dr. Emily Molly Keller, hooded by Dr. Gina Owens. Dr. Marjorie Ann Perkins Shope, hooded by Dr. Gina Owens. Dr. Rachel Francesca Caretta, hooded by Dr. Gina Owens. Dr. Elliot Nolan DeVore, hooded by Dr. Gina Owens. Dr. Pamela Rosecrans, hooded by Dr. Aaron Hardin. Dr. Kevin Matthew Fry, hooded by Dr. Aaron Hardin. Dr. Connor Logan Smith, hooded by Dr. Timothy Halsey. Dr. Emily Catherine Mariotti, hooded by Dr. Jennifer Bolden Bush. Dr. Lauren Page Fox, hooded by Dr. Todd Moore. Dr. Hannah Lee Gregorian, hooded by Dr. Gregory Stewart. Dr. Kara Megan King McLean, hooded by Dr. Chris Elledge. Dr. Courtney Jade Christopher, hooded by Dr. Sean Campagna. The candidates from the Haslam College of Business will be greeted by Dean Steve L. Mangum. Dr. Can Trin, hooded by Dr. Steve Mangum. The candidates from the College of Communication and Information will be greeted by Dean Joseph Mazer. Dr. Joseph Edward Leibarger, hooded by Dr. Michelle Violenti. Dr. Li Min Huang, hooded by Dr. Danya Bilal. Dr. Kevin Joseph Mallory, hooded by Dr. Devendra Potness. Dr. John Ashley Baker, hooded by Dr. Michael Martinez. The candidates from the College of Education, Health, and Human Sciences will be greeted by Dean Ellen McIntyre. Dr. Anisha Singh, hooded by Dr. Lori L. Meshki. Dr. Virginia Marie McClurg, hooded by Dr. R. Steve McCollum. Dr. Lynette Jane New, hooded by Dr. R. Steve McCollum. Dr. Alexander Cody Price, hooded by Dr. Marilee McCurdy. Dr. Jada Kenise White, hooded by Dr. Marilee McCurdy. Dr. Alvin Lewis Morton III, hooded by Dr. David Bassett. Dr. Sharia Shantae Upton, hooded by Dr. Joel D'Ambra. Dr. Christopher Ryan Lefevre, hooded by Dr. Casey Barrio Minton. Dr. Carrie Buckner, hooded by Dr. Amy Bramell. Dr. Stephanie Lee Brennan, hooded by Dr. Amy Brummel. Dr. Jorge A. Sandoval, hooded by Dr. David Chihak. Dr. Stephanie Nicole Jones, hooded by Dr. Jennifer Morrow. Dr. Noelia Pacheco Diaz, hooded by Dr. Louis Ricconi. Dr. Anita F. Morgan, hooded by Dr. Sonia Hayes. Dr. Janice Branch Hall, hooded by Dr. Patrick Biddix. Dr. Davis Hewen Bodie, hooded by Dr. Patrick Biddix. Dr. Lee Cherry Morales, hooded by Dr. Patrick Biddix. Dr. Craig Stephen Pickett, Jr., hooded by Dr. Dorian McCoy. The candidates from the Tickle College of Engineering will be greeted by Dean Matthew Mensch. Dr. Omid Daniel Porkalili, hooded by Dr. Matthew Mensch. Dr. John Lockwood Peavy, hooded by Dr. Vladimir Sobes. Dr. Jonah D. Duran, hooded by Dr. David Donovan. Dr. Xiong Shup Lee, hooded by Dr. David Donovan. Dr. Ryan Tan, hooded by Dr. Eric Lucosi. Dr. Zhou Liu, hooded by Dr. Shuiping Li. Dr. Fabiano Carvalho di Castrocin, hooded by Dr. John Kobza, representing Dr. Rupi Sawaini. Dr. Antora Mosina Haq, hooded by Dr. Asad Katak. Dr. Steve Lee, hooded by Dr. Asad Katak. Dr. Clifford S. Swanson, hooded by Dr. Chong Hee. Dr. Jonathan Coote, hooded by Dr. Gila Stein. Dr. Stephanie Amber Spittle, hooded by Dr. Gila Stein. Dr. Yutan Ma, hooded by Dr. Bashan Huang. Dr. Miao Miao Zhang, hooded by Dr. Baoshan Wang. Dr. Rui Zhao, hooded by Dr. Baoshan Huang. Dr. Nitesh Raj Shah, hooded by Dr. Chris Cherry. Dr. Pankaj Mani Dahal, hooded by Dr. Lee D. Han. Dr. Abu Bakr Mohammed Salah Ibrahim Zaidan, hooded by Dr. Candace Breakwood. Dr. Neil D. Gaffin, hooded by Dr. Stephen Zinkel. Dr. Jake Allen Childs, hooded by Dr. Caleb Rucker. Dr. Joshua Daniel Fagan, hooded by Dr. Lynn Parker. Dr. Walker Bryce McCord, hooded by Dr. Jili Zhang. Dr. Z. Chen He, hooded by Dr. Jili Zhang. Dr. Jared Alexander Carnes, hooded by Dr. James G. Coder. Dr. Hector David Ortiz Melendez, hooded by Dr. James G. Coder. Dr. Lian Zhu, hooded by Dr. Hua Bei. Dr. Yu Yan, hooded by Dr. Hua Bei. Dr. Ryan John Weiss, hooded by Dr. Garrett S. Rose. Dr. Clifton Charles Sluss, hooded by Dr. David Keffer. Dr. Matios Pianosola, hooded by Dr. Maria Zuravalva. Dr. Joshua Lee Sikot, hooded by Dr. Maria Zuravleva. Dr. Laura Michaela Harris, hooded by Dr. Subhadeep Chakraborty. Dr. Aaron J. Wilson, hooded by Dr. Yilu Liu. Dr. Khalid Mohammed Al-Shwaibi, hooded by Dr. Yilu Liu. Dr. Katrina Marie Sweetland, hooded by Dr. Trevor Moeller. Dr. UK Wang, hooded by Dr. Sunga Shin. Dr. Taher Nadiri, hooded by Dr. Herong Chi. The candidates from the College of Law will be greeted by Dean Lonnie Brown. Emily Susan Pohl, hooded by Dr. Alex Long. The candidates for the College of Nursing will be greeted by Dean Victoria P. Niederhauser. Dr. Daniel Paul Del Toro, hooded by Dr. Victoria Niederhauser. Dr. Keely Miranda Harrison, hooded by Dr. Allison Neal. Dr. Callie Corfage Smith, hooded by Dr. Marion Malone. Dr. Whitney Stone Sharp, hooded by Dr. Marion Malone. Dr. Melanie Holland King, hooded by Dr. Catherine Noonan. Dr. Carrie Renee McCoy, hooded by Dr. Sadie Hudson. Dr. Sandra Jones Cobb, hooded by Dr. Laura Beebe. Dr. Susan Henley Hebert, hooded by Dr. Joel Anderson. The candidates from the College of Veterinary Medicine will be greeted by Dean James P. Thompson. Dr. Ashley Michelle Reeves, hooded by Dr. Deborah Miller. Dr. Tamara Lee Chavez Lindell, hooded by Dr. Agricola Odoy. The candidates from the Bredesen Center for Interdisciplinary Research and Graduate Education will be greeted by Philip Rack, Education Director. Dr. K.W. John, hooded by Dr. Scott Emmerich. Dr. J.D. Huneman, hooded by Dr. Adam Gus. Dr. Kevin Ignacio D'Angeli, hooded by Dr. Ricardo Vidala. Dr. Chad Aaron Melton, hooded by Dr. Kathleen Brown.
As we prepare to leave, I want to offer once again my sincere congratulations to all of our graduates. Let's give one more round of applause for all of our graduates. Graduates, take time to reflect on your accomplishments and celebrate your success. Although you may see this ceremony as an end to your academic journey, it is also a beginning. You leave here this evening with proof that you are committed to achieve at a high level. You enter the next phase of your life with new skills and knowledge that will help you find success in the years ahead. Graduates, remember the many lessons you learned on a hallowed hill in Tennessee. You will always be part of the Tennessee family. As we conclude today, I'd like to remind you that all graduates and guests are asked to exit up to the concourse level of the arena. No guests will be allowed on the arena floor. Graduates and guests, I wish you well, and I thank you for being with us today. And now, it is my pleasure to present to you Chancellor Donde Plowman, who will confer the degrees. Chancellor Plowman, these scholars have met all of the requirements for the various doctoral, master's, and specialist in education degrees.
Degree graduate candidates, will you please stand? Your presence today demonstrates that you've done the work and completed the requirements for your degrees. On behalf of the state of Tennessee and the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree for which you have been granted. Congratulations, graduates.
We'll close our ceremony, as is our tradition, by singing the alma mater together. Please stand, and after singing the alma mater, the stage party will recess, and our ceremony will officially conclude.